Well, big banks are sued for not sounding the alarm before the last meltdown. So are they trying to cover their heinies now, warning about the next potential meltdown? Because Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and HSBC, among those warning of dire market consequences ahead. Dave Maney says big bank fines have left them potentially trying to cover their behinds. Or is there something more going on here? You can always be protected if you mention both the good argument and the bad argument. So maybe it's as simple as that. What do you think?
I think there's meat to it, Neil. It looks to me like we're in this very different economy that we don't know how it works. We all talk about the Dow Jones Industrial Average in a post-industrial economy. And it's kind of, to me, we've used this analogy before, you and I talking about this, but it is a little bit like driving a car in the dark in an ice storm and you've never driven the car before. If this market starts to skid, the economy has changed so fundamentally that I don't think anybody knows exactly how that car is going to steer when we hit that icy patch. There was just a report this weekend, a Goldman economist wrote about the Fed now being concerned about mismeasurement of the economy, that this information-driven economy isn't measured the same way before, which I've been writing about in my Forbes column for the last 2 or 3 years, talking about how the scoreboard is broken. In an environment of that much uncertainty, I don't think anyone who says, gee, I'm not sure if this is going to be persistent, I don't think they've got any fears of being deadly wrong or being accused of doing something different.
Yeah, and you'd always be richly rewarded for covering both possibilities. What I do find out is the HSBC guy who was whining about, Armageddon or close to it, his name was Stephen King. Now, is that coincidence? I think not. But what do you think of that scary scenario that this market has had a great run? But it's run long in the tooth here, and I think they even point out it need not be a cataclysmic event. It could be just like a fizzle. And we start getting anemic returns that are closer to 2% than even the hope for 5%. What do you think?
I think that's entirely right. And I think the point I was making about not knowing how this market will react to that, I don't think anyone can look at this and say that there's not a great deal of uncertainty and news risk and geopolitical risk. We've got just in our country, taking the rest of the world out of it, we have a horrible kind of disagreement about what kind of role the federal government should play in regulating business. We were just talking about with that whole cable transaction.
Right.
So we've got this giant piece of political risk coming at us in 2016, where you can imagine the nation veering this way or that way based on that election, and yet we've got this record level stock pricing as if kind of everything's fine. And I don't think that's accurate.
And you have been warning us such. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.